Okay, I'm live. Hello, everyone. What's up, Richard? What's up, Tiff? I know it's been like a grip since I've done a live video. Man, it's been just crazy, busy, but I'm happy to just do this brief update on some current topics that I've been following. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, then you're probably missing a lot of my content. So just go over to Angie C on LinkedIn, look me up on LinkedIn, and you will have access to my content daily because I'm mostly posting on LinkedIn. So, whew, we live in a crazy world, y'all. I'm just gonna pull up some of my LinkedIn posts and just kind of review some of them, get some of your opinions about it, and we're gonna start with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Here's the thing, and let me know if my audio is good. Let me just do a quick check because the cyber demons, they hate us talking about their hand-picked bureaucrats. Okay, cool, we good. So the cyber demons, they hate when we talk about their hand-picked bureaucrats, but I feel like we need to talk about Kamala Harris more because all of this chaos going on in the now, and she's just kind of taking this side chick back door, when you're needed, we'll put you in front of people role. Cool. Thank you so much, Tiff. So I feel like, I don't look at, Kamala Harris right now as a vice president. I almost look at her as a side chick to the Biden agenda. And, she's been given all these different tasks to mitigate, to give her, to prove, you know, her ability to be able to solve issues or problems, right? So they gave her the border, they gave her a couple of other tasks in which we have not seen deliveries from this woman at all. And so, as I'm continuously thinking about how Kamala Harris is playing out in the Biden administration, I really can't help but think that maybe, that whole assumption that she was just maybe a prop or a token is not that far off. Now, here's the thing. I don't like to just lodge ad hominem attacks about people. I don't like to process information about people just because somebody else don't. They use her as a spokesperson. Exactly, Tiff. She is more of a spokesperson for the Biden administration than she is a vice president. They got her doing vaccine education campaigns in which she's trying to target the Black community to get vaccinated, so that they can meet their financial quotas or whatever or whatnot. She's using Facebook to kind of get, just do all her work for us. Hey, get vaccinated, do this, blah, blah, blah. But she's not making any sense. And I think they tasked her with some of the most nonsensical aspects this, they're kicking me out of my stream. Let me tell you what happens, just in case. Can you guys confirm that you can see me and hear me now? I'm about to do a mic check just in case they defaults at my mic another way. These little demons are so crafty. Am I still on, you guys? It looks like the live stream is still going, but these demons are busy. Okay, let me tell you what they do. I'll have all bars on my Wi-Fi, and these people will just go ahead and default my Wi-Fi, default my camera, all this crazy technical stuff that things supposed to be happening. So shame on stream and all the other cyber loser demons that mess with people's streams because they don't want an objective viewpoint. So what's up, James? I see you. What's up, Sal? Satan and his demons know they only have a little time left. I'm saying, and they trying to bring down as many people as they can into their craziness. And so when you look at people like Kamala Harris, she's a face. She's just a face for the party. Right? She's a face for the Democratic Party to persuade blacks. That's why they keep focusing on her race and her identity, because they're trying to have an emotional appeal towards blacks and women. And so when I look at her and she's standing back now, I'm wondering if a part of Kamala Harris is like, I really did get sold into, I really did get bought into some bullshit. And maybe Kamala Harris is kind of looking at sort of her family's lineage and travels to this country and with the opportunities that they were seeking when they came here. Maybe it's hard for her to complete in agreement with these rhetoric that she is, in my opinion, being, directed to tout. So I question Kamala Harris's commitment to the Biden agenda. A lot of people say, guess what? Democrats are really strong and they'll come together, blah, blah, blah. But this is different. Everything that happened in 2020 and beyond, a whole different, to me, layer in the United States in our social contract. And just like people want to believe that collectively any given group think the same way, they don't. I was just looking at a podcast about two black nations within America, because black America is not united in terms of the narrative and the rhetoric that is being projected about our community continuously to leverage us, into buying into certain emotional or sensory arguments that persuades us into making political decisions. And so Kamala knows. I think that's what it is. Kamala Harris knows that she is being used. Her identity is being used. And I kind of go back to Barack Obama a little bit. Everybody kept saying, Barack Obama, they wouldn't, it was the Republicans, they wouldn't let him be successful. And it's like, I don't believe that. I believe that there was a mixture of both Democrats and Republicans that did not want Barack Obama successful and really come in and be the president, because they really want to have a black man. In my opinion, it had to be Joe Biden. Look at this. It befuddles me. I always said this in the beginning, in the 2020 election, that Barack Obama should down and do not ruin his legacy backing Joe Biden. There was absolutely, to me, no benefit in Obama backing Joe Biden at all. And I don't buy into their romantic relationship and Jill and Michelle being friends and all this bullshit. That is a ruse. I feel like these people are so fake. They'll pretend like they're best friends in front of the camera, but then behind closed doors, they can't stand each other. And I think that Obama, the worst thing he could have did was put his legacy on the line for Joe Biden, who has the track record of disrespecting black people the way that he did. I feel like all of this stuff is a setup. There's no way that Joe Biden, to me, got more votes than Barack Obama. I mean, literally, y'all think about this. Joe Biden, literally, this illegitimate freaking, maybe possibly cognitively case of a president we have. There's no way that people can conclude that he got more votes than Obama. Nobody wanted to get Trump out of the office that bad that they bought into Joe Biden as a, honestly, it's almost like y'all didn't vote for Biden. Y'all voted to get Trump out of office, and this is what we're dealing with right now. This is what we're dealing with. And I think Kamala Harris, I feel like she's smart enough to understand where she's being leveraged. And I think that she's trying not to play ball on this. They're trying to rebrand her image in a way that possibly is more organic to who she is, so that she can start speaking in a way that is in the interest of the American Republic versus these democratic delusions of grandeur. And I think that the more Black Americans are standing up against this and not even buying into these black faces that they keep putting before us, or these supposed black faces that they keep putting before us, the more it makes Kamala Harris's job as a spokesperson difficult. What do y'all think? His approval ratings under 40%? Absolutely. Because the thing is, the Democrats, that they had enough of a sensory appeal, and they felt like with COVID, between COVID and the social justice BS, that they thought sufficiently enough inflamed the American public to the extent that we would buy into all of these irrational social justice type reforms within the federal government. My thing is, we can have fairness and equality without the federal government being, the government powers being centralized. And I feel like a lot of people aren't thinking about these in-betweens. That's why I said the schools really need to bring Schoolhouse Rock back, so that people understand how government should work versus how government is being projected to work, so that they can meet all kinds of irrational agendas. A lot of people don't know how the government works. A lot of people don't know how the government is supposed to work. So they buy into all these ridiculous ideas, sensory, rhetoric, and they end up buying into policies, agendas that end up devastating them. When I look at the Build Back Better agenda, I look at it as an attack and a war on the middle class. I look at it as a way to wipe out the middle class, because the middle class also pays a lot of taxes. They're not getting those. Most of them are not getting the loopholes. They're not qualifying for these loopholes. So it's like, I feel like this agenda with Joe Biden, he's trying to wipe out the middle class. And people need to start waking up to that. And I think with Kamala Harris, I think that she's recognizing that a lot of these policies are not in the best interest of the American people. And I don't think she wants her name and her legacy to be on this. That's why I think Kamala Harris is standing down right now. She don't want her legacy. She don't want her name. And maybe she's not as gullible and stupid as Obama to put herself on the line for Joe Biden anymore. And that's what I truly believe. Kamala Harris does not want to put her legacy on the line for Biden anymore. She don't want to manipulate her people into buying into bullshit anymore. And she don't want to be on a train of ignorance and touting ignorant propaganda rhetoric anymore, because she's not fucking good at it. I mean, and you can tell she's not uncomfortable. People keep talking about her uncontrollable laughs. Personally, I believe that is her comfort cushion. I truly believe that when Kamala Harris is laughing, I don't even think personally she is trying to be disrespectful to whatever is being asked of her. I think that she knows that she bought into bullshit, but she got to play the part, and she got to give a colorful. And so it's just kind of like, it's almost like I'm kidding myself, like saying this to you, because I really don't believe it. You know what I mean? I think that's the case for her. A lot of people don't know the Constitution and the limited power of the president has. Exactly, but they buy into the person. So you riding with Biden, so you gonna do all because you hate Trump. So you're buying into the person. You're not buying into what the person is about to do to you. And that's what a lot of people did. They bought into the Democratic fervor, all that racial recycled racism, public lynchings. I mean, can people just get real? And I did a video on this a long a couple of months ago. My people, we grew up idea of an open season on niggas. And not, if you're offended by the N word, I'm sorry, but that's what the old folks used to call it. Open season on niggas, okay? And it's a reoccurring time during political cycles to the where you see black men being sensationalized. So no, they're not hanging black men anymore. They're using some of these KKK infiltrations in these police departments to carry out these heinous agendas so that black people can get re-inflamed all over again. And then the same party that's touting this stuff, they don't want to justice reform the right way. Y'all got to think about it. Obama walked out, not the criminal justice reform president, he walked out the healthcare president. And he had at least 5 national hate crimes against black people under his administration's belt. And he did not do criminal justice reform. So why the hell would anybody expect for Joe Biden, no matter if George Floyd died every week, why the fuck would anybody expect for Joe Biden to do criminal justice reform? The first black president didn't even prioritize it, and he had hate crimes under his belt. Matter of fact, George Floyd was very reminiscent of Michael Brown. So let's be real about this, right? So, and then, what really befuddles me is that these people, Biden went in office and the protest magically disappeared. Of course they did. I call Black Lives Matter seasonal workers, right? They're seasonal workers. And that's why it was almost befuddling to me that they got upset with the Biden administration once they got elected, that they did not bring Black Lives Matter to the table. And I'm like, first of all, you're a seasonal worker. You're no different than the people who wrap gifts at Macy's during Christmas. So it's over. Contract over into the next political season, BLM. I don't understand why these people think that when they get this clout from these political bureaucrats, that these people are going to continue to fund them all year round. No, I tell you this, Black Lives Matter shut the fuck up real quick when they did that protest against anti-vaccine mandates in New York. Anybody hear anything else about that? Anybody hear anything else about Black Lives Matter doing another protest against anti-vaccine mandates? You know why? Because that destroys the Democratic agenda and narrative. So somebody paid them to shut the fuck up because they went away real quick again. So we know that Black Lives Matter is a political lever to get black people inflamed. And then they get a bunch of donors throughout this inflammation period. And then the donors like, all right, well, hopefully y'all make do with the money that we gave y'all to exploit y'all people because funding's cut. Christmas is over. We don't need gift wrappers anymore. The 9th Amendment protects the enumerated rights not listed in the U.S. Constitution of the people. They don't care about the rights of the people. They're trying to use every emotional argument they can to infringe on those. And, that gets me to, the emotionally chargedness of a lot of these sensory arguments. A lot of people are buying into them. They're not looking for, some rational silver lining. They don't want to go back and look at their own personal experience and connect the dots to what is being said to you and what you actually know. People are living in a delusional bubble, right? So Dave Chappelle recently got on a chopping block again. I feel like they're always coming after Dave Chappelle. It's like, this Democratic media establishment, what they do is for these black people, some of our black athletes, stars, celebrities, they come from poverty. And what they do is they take these people from poverty and they give them the life that they never dreamed that they could live by leveraging a talent that they think that they could explore, right? A lot of people, the Democrats want black people to love comedians like Tiffany Haddish. I still cannot rock with Tiffany Haddish. She's just not funny. She's like a manufactured comedian to me that is just speaking points of black culture and trying to create a spin on them, right? But but she's not funny. Dave Chappelle is organically funny because Dave Chappelle is organically real. Like that Paul Mooney. See, Paul Mooney and a lot of some of these other comedians, black comedians that we don't see the bigger hype about than some of these other black comedians is because they have not sold out their viewpoints. They have not said, you have my mind, you have my perspective, and I will sell it out to how you want me to deliver this thought. You know what I mean? Dave Chappelle is one of those people. I need to stay true to myself. And if I sit there and just promote contradictory rhetoric to my people, they're going to eventually find that out. And you see it with Kwame Brown exposing a lot of the NBA, right? The go along, get along gang. That's in every single facet of black entertainment, from the news to the music. These sellout. So when you see a black person like Dave Chappelle or the late Paul Mooney talking that real facts that their people really need to know, you don't need to take those as jokes. Because I don't think that, what J.K. Rowling said or even Dave Chappelle's spinoff, to me, I am a woman, okay? I am a woman. To me, there's a rite of passage a woman. I feel like makes a woman a woman. If you didn't have a period from the time that you were 11 to 12, and there are some women who have issues with their menstrual cycles, but for the most part, menstrual cycles are associated with women. All right. Any girlfriend, I can have a conversation in the corner. When did you start your period? Oh, I started at 11. I started at 10. I started at 9. Menstrual cycle is a very uncomfortable thing for a woman to deal with throughout her life. Okay? Transgender type women, they're not women. They don't have that rite of passage. Even though it's an uncomfortable rite of passage, it's still a signature of being a real woman. And it's an uncomfortable signature. And unless you live that I'm 38 years old, bro. This plague of bleeding has been with my ass. I don't mean to be, graphic with people, but it has, and I deserve the right to say that you're not a fucking woman because your body is not dealing with this. It has not dealt with this all your fucking. So to me, there are certain intrinsic things about reality. And gender is one of those things. Now, I don't care how people want to mentally identify or decide to live or make choices. That's your problem. But don't sit up there and try to the fact that there are people who identify themselves as a male dominant, nothing else, and a female dominant, nothing else. And I think I get tired of this argument of alliance with people who refuse to respect the choices and the mindset of other people. Just because you are trans does not mean you need to superimpose your feelings, your insecurities, or any aspect of your being trans on me. And when I say that, it means that if you are a transgender who is a man and you clearly like a man, okay, but you look like a man that's wearing makeup or dressed like a woman, and you say, my name is Sasha, I'm going to call you Sasha, right? I'm going to actually try to consciously avoid pronouns with individuals like that so that I'm not offensive to them. So I think that, people, if we can come to an agreement that we need to be conscious and respectful, some of these arguments wouldn't be as sensationalized as they are. I don't feel like Dave Chappelle said anything that was reasonable. I don't think that J.K. Rowling said anything that was unreasonable. But because this Democratic mainstream keeps pushing these agendas, I have a lot of, gay neighbors, gay male neighbors. And some of them are disgusted with this agenda because they feel like it makes it harder for them to just live their lives as a person outside of their sexuality. Some people don't want their sexuality and their identity written all over their sleeves for everybody to know. Some people just want to be who they are and move on with life. And I think that it's unfair to sit there and let some of these passionately ignorant people impose on that. If you are a person, if you're a woman and you've gone through all these things that women traditionally go through, you have every right to agree with Dave Chappelle and J.K. Rowling's. Period. I mean, because it's not my job to make anybody feel better about any decision that they have made for themselves. It's not. I don't care what passionately ignorant person want to sit there and say that it is. It's not. They should have common sense. I mean, exactly. You're not a woman without a menstrual cycle. I'm sorry. There's just some things that happens in intrinsic reality that some of these delusional reality people don't want to admit. Like when a man and a woman typically comes together, most of the time procreating. There's a reason why when men and women genders come together, they can create life. Now you got all these scientific people who are trying to superimpose on intrinsic reality because they have an artificial mindset about life. And and I said this on LinkedIn today. I said, you know why you got the teachers union, the US Department of Education dumbing Americans down? You know why Americans have gotten dumber for the last 20 years? Is because they're making way for artificial intelligence. Artificial, not real, simulated human intelligence. And if you make AI seem smarter than humans, you got to dumb down humans. You got to get them outside of a critical thinking mindset so that they'll think that the robots are just so freaking smart. Let's be honest about this. Even people who are in AI, they admit that the technology is not because it doesn't have the thinking capabilities of humans. So what do they want to do to push this technology? Make the thinking ability of humans dumb. So, and emotional and sensory. So, what are your thoughts about Dave Chappelle? Do you think that man should be canceled for giving his objective opinion about arguments that need to be force fed down people's? What do you think? Is that something to cancel this man for, or what? Because I feel like if we're going to cancel anybody, the number one person on my person right now is Anthony Fauci. I think he needs to be canceled. Fauci needs to be canceled. These narcissistic bureaucrats have literally perverse science with their sensory and emotional appeal arguments that makes absolutely no sense to intrinsic reality. You got the federal government and all these passionately ignorant people who don't understand science, who don't know how the government works, forcing people to take a solution that does not protect people who have taken the solution. Salute to Dave Chappelle. I agree, Tiff. I mean, I feel like people who live in reality should be able to take a stand for their belief systems too. I believe that if you're a trans, whatever, LGBTQ plus, whatever, that is your business. If you have any unreconciled issues with the lifestyle that you have either chosen or you have conflicts with, that's where we have therapists. Go see a fucking therapist, but don't put your shit on society, and definitely don't put your shit on me, because I ally with people who can respect my disposition and my way of life just as well. That's just how I roll over here. So I want to get back, it's just been a lot in the news lately and I've been busy. So like I said, I post on LinkedIn, but I'm just recapping. I did a survey on LinkedIn recently asking, should taxpaying have a say in the curriculum that is taught to their children? And 86%, I had about 4,200 people participate in this survey. 86% of these individuals felt that taxpayers do have a right to have a say in the curriculum that their children are being taught. And a lot of these people justified this, by saying that, hey, I don't want my kids to be taught critical race theory. And I wish that they would stop thinking that people who are white are objecting to critical race theory. There are plenty of Black parents who are by the education department's push to shove down this type of supremacy and inferiority in children's throats, in their minds. They're planting the seeds of supremacy and inferiority. That is what they are doing. And a lot of Black parents are offended by this. And the mainstream media don't want to cover that. Fox does a good job at covering the vehemently against critical race theory and against any type of lessons of taught to their children that creates gender dysphoria, identity dysphoria, because that is the focus of the school. You guys, these people kicked me all the way out my stream. I mean, all the way out. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. When you hit on those points that they know, I rebuke you, Satan, all your demons and all your cyber demons in the name of your son, Christ Jesus. Amen. These demons are busy. I hope they get exactly what they deserve to. So you're in Johnston. I'm in Wake, a close neighbor. Hope you're doing well. Yay! We got some neighbors. I'm telling you, these people, they're busy. That's all I can say. They're cyber demons. They know what they're doing to people. They think that people are not intelligent enough to kind of recognize a lot of the fallacies of these arguments and even what they're doing. And I look at YouTube and it's like this YouTube is such. I look at all these tech companies that we bought into thinking that these people protected our speech and our data. And now we're figuring out that, we're marketing tools for these people. I want them to pay me for using my data. Seriously. I want people to start paying me, these tech companies. I want any company that I've invested in, I feel like I have a right to sue them for censoring me, and I'm paying their money. This is ridiculous. But anyways, we just gonna keep it moving, because like I said, poll, 86% of our parents said that they believe that they should have a say in what their children is taught in schools. And again, I'm one of those parents that agree with that, because you're not going to teach my child identity and gender dysphoria to make some weirdo in society feel better about themselves. And and you look at the people who are delivering this information, and they're activist teachers. These are people who have all kinds of insecurities. They probably go home to a cat or a dog. And these are just insecure people being charged with teaching our young children. And they try to make these people colorful so that the kids will buy into the bullshit that they're saying to them. Because kids are malleable. And all you got to do is plant the seed. And that's why it's up to parents to actually parent. Sorry, allergies. I'm so stuffy right now. But it's up to parents to really take the stand, like these parents are doing, to say, you're not going to teach my kids your problems so that they can grow up to be a valueless person in society, riddled by all these insecurities that you want to leverage anytime you have an agenda. That is what the evil, sinister people that are doing in this world today. But I was surprised that of that 4,200 plus individuals, 5% said no. Parents don't have a right to have in their kids' education. Most people don't have children. Yeah, most people don't have children because we've had so many societal influences against building a nuclear family. A lot of people, like when you look at kind of some of the popular discussions, children, to me, celebrities have children so that they can, get some celebrity clout for being able to have, you know what I mean? But, I feel like a lot of people these days, they're going towards animals instead of having kids, because for them, it's easier not to be responsible for another person screwed up yourself. I applaud those people, by the way. Thank you for being at least considerate and not procreating when you're super screwed up. I wish more people would get that memo. I mean, I believe in the nuclear family. I believe in people expanding the human race by means of having children. But when you have so many agendas for population control, you got to start looking at this. You know what I mean? We kill more babies through abortions than most people die of any other thing in this country. Abortions kill more people, and they don't want to say out. What really befuddles me is that some Democratic states are okay with killing a baby up until the day of its due date. Now, I've had 3 children. Okay, I've had 3 children. Okay, 2 of my children were born premature, a couple of weeks early, right? Even them being born in their premature couple of weeks early, they were functional babies that I were able to take home within 3 days after giving birth to them. So you're telling me that these evil ass people think that it is okay to kill a child, a fetus, at 40 weeks old, up to 40 weeks old, and they don't believe that that is murder. And the Democrats, in their idea of a woman's right to choose, would co-sign bullshit like that. How about the woman choose not to open her damn legs and just let Tom, Dick, and Harry go up in there? How about that? How about she just stop letting all kinds of ships go up into her seas? Because let's be honest, abortion is a method of birth control more than it is a medical solution. It is. Abortion is a method of birth control for many people. And you have women who have multiple abortions because they're sluts. Not all of them. and please listen to the words I said. You have women, right? You have women, that means some, who have abortions as a method of birth control because they are outright sluts. And I'm a woman, so I will just put it on the table. So these ladies are letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry come up in there and then going to a clinic to kill the baby. And because she ain't got a lot of money, right, she's sitting on trying to raise funds to have an abortion, right? All the while that baby is growing in her all the same. And to me, it don't take 40 weeks to decide if you're going to have a child or not. I mean, it just really don't take 40 weeks to make that decision. And yet Democrats are saying it's okay for you to take the full 40 weeks to decide if you want to terminate that child before it actually leaves your body. And, you know, shout out to Project Veritas. Shout out to Project Veritas, because I recently posted about them on LinkedIn too. You have a Pfizer scientist undercover. Mainstream media is not going to cover this. They'll probably cut my webcast off again because they're trying to cover for some of these people who keep touting this nonsensical bullshit that they can mandate shit and take people's civil liberties away. But I recently posted, I can see Mark Robinson as our U.S. president. The Democrats have no limits. They have freaking chill with this psychotic shit that they're on the mic doing. And you see how they perverse like all the federal agencies, FBI, the military, FBI, CIA, all of these agencies have been perverse by this Democratic agenda. And so many of our dedicated service people in those agencies are left in conflict. And if they voice their concerns about the conflict they have against the outright tyranny of this nation, they get labeled, oh, you're a white supremacist. You're this, you're that. Well, you know what's crazy? Somebody called Dave Chappelle talking about his using his white privilege. So are you saying that Dave Chappelle would not exist without people? You're saying that this man, regardless of his talent, regardless of the influence that he managed to keep within his community, y'all saying that Dave Chappelle is speaking out of white privilege and he's a whole black man. This is the irrationality of some of these liberal people. They are so committed to ignorance. They are addicted to ignorance, passionately ignorant, that they can say some dumb shit like that and think that it's okay and it makes sense. It's insane to me. But like I said, shout out to Project Veritas. I know that we're not going to see this James O'Keefe investigative reporter. And I want to shout James O'Keefe too. Probably one of the last, one of the very few journalists with integrity that exists. He's a real life journalist. He's not some opinion yuppie talking head like we see in the mainstream. James O'Keefe, in my opinion, he has true integrity to the truth. And I appreciate Project Veritas. And if you're not following Project Veritas, follow them before YouTube decides to betray the American free speech contract once again and censor them. But Project Veritas recently exposed a Pfizer scientist who was on camera saying that your natural immunity is better than their vaccine. He and you know, they obviously they probably put some beautiful woman in front of this little beta boy or whatever, some woman that he would probably never get on a normal day, and this dude just singing like a canary. This guy, check out Project Veritas. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but check this out. He said he don't want to see himself telling the truth. He's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I don't want to see any of this. How do you know anything about me? Because we just dangled a fine ass chick in front of you and got you to buy her dinner and sing like a damn canary while she recorded your stupid ass. I call the Project Veritas exposing a lot of these pharmaceutical people who know that this vaccine is not as efficient as the natural immunity, right? They're goons. I almost like it when y'all see this happening midstream. So y'all know how these people are trying to censor people. I think what they do is they set up the psychology, right? If you have people looking at your stream, taking in your stream, if you're saying something that hits a nerve with them, then they will stop your stream with the hopes that when you get back in, people will leave your stream or they won't follow your stream because they will perceive it as being choppy. So just understand that if you have a favorite YouTuber and their content is starting to look choppy and just stick with them, because that is a machination of these algorithms to try to make your production or your video look choppy so that people are checking into it. So like I said, I'm all hip to the machinations of these cyber devil demons. For the public. I mean, and this is public information that these hoes are trying to censor. You know what I mean? Why are you censoring shit that's already out there? Like you can't limit what people say to people because I mean y'all wouldn't. But like I swear, if you hear the way people talk just in everyday communities, half of the stuff that they're censoring is not even. It don't even make any sense because people are already talking about it. And to your point, Sal, Pfizer, I don't need you to save anything for me, Pfizer CEO, right? I need you to be taking the lead and injecting yourself with your own damn product, right? Put your product in you. Why? I mean, I don't even understand why anybody with any rationality would have bought into some bullshit answer like that. Sanjay Gupta definitely should have challenged him by saying, "Well, what do you mean? Like, wouldn't it make sense if you are the CEO of Pfizer that you would take your own damn product as a lead to get other people to want to take it?" Let's be real about this. YouTube, StreamYard, why y'all censoring First Amendment speech? This shit don't make any sense. And yet y'all want to jump on the bandwagon of ignorance, censoring people, and talking about how we should force people to get vaccinated. This is disgusting. I mean, my whole thing is the argument, the very premise of the argument for the vaccine mandate is flawed. It's riddled with fallacies because the scientific data, the intrinsic data does not support the fact that unvaccinated people are a threat to vaccinated people. The cyber demons will drag into the streets and held accountable. I mean, my thing is, I get happy when I see people taking hits. That's when I get happy, and I don't feel sorry for nobody that bought into bullshit that takes a hit. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about people. See, I feel like people don't speak nothing but money. Nothing but money. That's all they do. They and I feel like the companies that have bought into the vaccine mandate, I feel like there should be a list. There should be a list of all the companies that have terminated employees because of this nonsensical, unconstitutional mandate. I mean, you all got to think about it. These bitches didn't even wait for OSHA. So you know that you are working with a passionately ignorant company that didn't even wait for the OSHA mandate to start laying y'all asses off for this mandate. That means your company don't got your back. You shouldn't want to work for a company that don't have your fucking back to stand up for you and say, that's some bullshit. Because here's the thing, they not going to start getting fines. Companies were not going to start getting fines until OSHA actually mandated it. They have to write it in, right? There's nothing that has been published right now saying that OSHA has done that. And people don't know how to fucking read between the lines to see that. OSHA has not put down any type of written mandate. The federal government is leveraging OSHA for this mandate because they know they can't fucking do it themselves. That's why they use the side chick organizations like OSHA. But OSHA hasn't put down anything. So if you're working for a company right now that has mandated you get vaccinated, that company is a company that you should not want to work for right now because they are betraying your rights. They are betraying your right to choose. They are putting you under duress. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably some insecure ass manager who has that power over other people to mandate them to do something prematurely. They're the motherfuckers doing it. They're the ones who are doing it. And excuse my language, but this gets me upset because you have people whose livelihood are being compromised by some bullshit fervor. The more we buy into the fact that we should have mandated vaccines after the data clearly shows that the vaccines are not doing anything that the mandate says that they're doing. It's not stopping the transmission. It's not keeping people safe. You know, when they talk about variants, I look at it as a flu strain. Every year there's a different strain of the flu, but they want to give it a different colorful name. Because if COVID is the new flu, we're dealing with different things of the damn flu. And any reputable scientist will say that any given strain of the flu can be better or worse than the other one to deal with. When you get a flu shot every year, you are getting a flu shot for whatever popular strains of flu are out that year. But you're not protected from every other strain of flu that happens that year because vaccines are coded for a specific pathogen, a specific variant of a pathogen. So if you're talking about mandating taking any of these vaccines right now, is a fucking nonsensical mandate because you're getting vaccinated from a version of COVID. You're not even getting vaccinated with the Delta variant. That's why they're popping out boosters. And if anybody's like me, I've only gotten a flu shot one time in my life. One time. And that shit made me sicker than a dog for that duration of that winter. And I vowed never to get another fucking flu shot again because I felt like it compromised my immune system to the extent that I was not able to fight off viruses normally. I have a trend with myself in terms of viruses that I get. I usually get sick right when the kids start. My household gets sick right when the kids start school again, right? Everybody getting sick. For about a month, we dealing with whatever code or whatever virus is going through our house, and then we're 100, right? So we dealt with that a couple of weeks ago. That my household has been sick for the last couple of weeks, right? My son just broke his fever, and now he's damn near 100% today. Natural immunity should never be counted out in any argument, especially when we're talking about mandating solutions. And people need to be intelligent, not emotional enough to understand that and respect it. I'm not a threat to you if you're vaccinated and I'm not vaccinated. You know why? Because both of us can transmit and get sick from the variant of COVID. Because the vaccines right now aren't covering Delta. They're covering the previous strain that everybody has natural immunity with, in my opinion, because that strain has actually been in the population since, I want to say, October 2019. Because I am not going to lie, let's be real about this. When late 2019, there was an outbreak and pandemic-like flu issues happening in ERs then. Matter of fact, I say a huge influx of COVID cases happened when we were not even shut down. If people want to be real about this. And I'm not talking about what the news is delivering. I'm talking about living everyday life, looking at my ERs. I passed Providence Hospital quite a bit. It was off the chains in 2019. So this virus, this man-made virus, because we still haven't talked about the origins. We still haven't held anybody accountable. But we know that scientists are saying that this virus was man-made. Who's going to take accountability for it? I don't know. But this virus was man-made. This virus was man-made. And what really got me, I'm so stuffy. I'm going to have to take a Claritin. What really got me is when COVID broke, right? It was like one of those things where they kept talking about, we don't understand a lot about this virus. We don't know how it works. And I'm like, but then you had scientists coming out and said, it appears that this was kind of an engineered type thing, right? So my whole thing is, scientists are sophisticated enough to know if a virus was created naturally or if it was artificially made, right? They know how to do that. If you can engineer a virus, you can reverse engineer a virus, and you can understand that virus, what's going on, and even how it's going to behave. Scientists have technology. They have sophisticated things to help them track the behaviors of these things. So while they sit up there acting dumb and oblivious, I don't know. You notice we don't hear much from the CDC director anymore because she looks stupid, talking out the side of her neck. She might be on Kamala's team now where, look, just keep me out of this shit. Okay, I'll try to be as brief as I can, but I just don't want to keep putting my credibility on the line for this bullshit. Because guess what? There are some people who remember biology class and they know how the human immune system works. They know that this vaccine is a simulation of what the immune system is doing any damn way. Your body has a natural coding system. There's a natural coding system, and this is not misinformation, YouTube. It's fucking biology. You can go to any biology book and see how the human immune system operates and how these arguments are nonsensical. So like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted earlier, shout out to Project Veritas, because they are exposing a lot of these individuals within these organizations, and they're not exposing the big guys. They're smart enough to go to the damn yuppies. The people like this, Nick Carl, Pfizer scientist, who admitted that your antibodies that you naturally produce to the virus is better than their vaccine. So why are the Democrats and these yuppie establishments, teachers union, all these bullshit people, why are they continuously trying to force people to take a solution that is not mitigating the problem that they say it mitigates? Americans need to take a stand on this. I don't care what color you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Asian, whatever. We need to literally take a stand on this. If the Pfizer CEO couldn't take it upon himself to put his own damn product in his arm, why the fuck would I do it? Seriously, take vitamin C and zinc, right? Turmeric, magnesium, all those good things. There are so many therapeutic ways in which you can get rid of an upper respiratory flu virus, man made, right? So many different ways. And yet people want to ignore them because they try to push people to pharmaceutical companies. And like I said, here's the thing. I find that pharmaceuticals have their usefulness. But useless and diabolical is when they are involved in cynical plots against humanity. And I'm not saying that this is the case with these pharmaceutical companies. I mean, they may not be, pushing this agenda, but I just feel like, a lot of them aren't stepping up to the plate to parts out loud. Shout out to Christina Parks. She's an immunologist. She testified before the Michigan State legislature talking about the purpose of vaccines and how the misinformation that the Democratic establishment want to try to propagate as being true facts is wrong. It makes no sense to intrinsic science. And yet, again, you emotionally charged people who want to force feed it. And I swear some of the ugliest people just love vaccine mandates. It's like, man, I know why you want your face covered. Tell the truth. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like you don't even want to see your own damn face. That's why you want to force everybody else to wear a damn mask so that you don't feel bad about your own damn self. But get on with that insecure shit. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's like people need to stop putting their shit on other people. So with that being said, that was kind of a wrap up of my LinkedIn content. The human race is the only race that matters. It always been for profit, no doubt. Need to get the vitamin D levels up to the 50 ngml to. I'm sorry, I can't read up. Let me get my glasses. Where are my glasses? See, y'all got me reading this tiny text. But to put on my extra set of eyes to do this. So let me see. I hear doctors also say that NAC is a good way to NAC is a really good to fight the virus, and acetylcysteine. I'm gonna have to look these things up. One thing I don't like to, I don't like to make medical recommendations or solution recommendations to people. I think that, if you have a good doctor, your doctor is going to tell you. I have a very holistic doctor, and it's very, very hard. Oh, these are cloudy. It's very, very hard to find a doctor that is very open and holistic about healthcare. So even my pediatrician, my kid's pediatrician, he's not one to prescribe my kids antibiotics when they're sick. I know a lot of pediatricians in the hood and in poverty lines, they pass out antibiotics like it's nothing. My pediatrician, unless my kids are like really, 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 really bad, and it's just like something that they're like super concerned, my pediatrician never prescribes my kids antibiotics, because he believes in the capability of their immune system. And when you start introducing things to me in the body to help boost the immune system or help the immune system in some way, I just don't know what the long-term effects of those things are. So I just say try to find yourself a good holistic doctor, one that believes in, medical science versus propaganda science, and you should be good. My doctor is a vax promoter, and that's it. I mean, here's the thing. The doctors are supposed to promote vaccines, in my opinion, to the patients that they service that may truly benefit from them, right? My doctor knows my immune system. My doctor knows that for the most part, I'm relatively healthy. So my doctor is not going to prescribe to me a solution that simulates something that my immune system will naturally do itself, or probably do a better job. The arguments with the vaccine is that it helps mitigates the effects of the virus. Well, if you've already had the virus, you already have that coding. So your body has already coded the virus, the pathogen, to the degree that if you get it again, your body is able to respond to it quicker. Therefore, obviously, the life cycle of a virus is less because your body was able to recognize it quicker. That's the purpose of vaccines. It's to help your body code the foreign pathogen. But if your body has already had the foreign pathogen, it's already been coded naturally. To me, getting a vaccine when your body has already coded something is almost overriding what your body has naturally done with something else that a man has made. And I don't think it's fair to have to push people to make that type of decision. It's dumb. It's irrational. And to me, it's tyrannical. It's straight tyrannical. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody, just open yourself up to rational information, and look at how this information is being tied together in a way to make you respond either in a way that you can think about what's going on and take in information to make a good decision, or if you're being force-fed and pushed into believing something because people need a narrative to continue for their own profit. So my last, note here is this wonderful lady. I don't know where she's from, but she's like my spirit animal, and she makes a really good point, and I hope that you guys can hear it. Right. So I don't know if y'all heard that. She said, why would the protected need to be protected from the unprotected by forcing the unprotected to get used the protection that didn't protect the protected in the first damn place? And this is why, like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not an anti-vaccine person. My kids have had vaccines before. Okay? I'm that is not my MO here at all. I'm not telling people don't get a vaccine, don't get vaccines. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. And I wish that people would stop thinking that conservative people are anti-vaxxers, generalizing people. That's not the argument. These people love deflecting arguments to try to create some sensory illogic. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and most people who are not for the COVID vaccine, I venture to say that they're not anti-vaxxers. They are anti-mandating people to take healthcare solutions. So that is what this conflict is about in America right now. You have some people who will buy into taking healthcare solutions, no matter how stupid the premise of the solution sounds. And then you have people who are saying, I believe in the ability of my natural immune system, and based off of the arguments that have been presented, I'm going to take my chances with my natural immune system. COVID has been in this population for damn near 2 years. And I've been saying the same damn thing. And I've had COVID, and I venture to say that the Delta variant was that bullshit that ravaged through my house the past month. But the power of natural immunity should not be denied anymore. And I pray that people will wake up, start rejecting a lot of this stuff. And I pray that, a lot of these companies who have these vaccine mandates, I really hope that they suffer the consequences for their illogic too, and what they are doing to people, ruining people's livelihoods, disrespecting all of those nurses who worked through the heart of the damn pandemic, unvaccinated, wasn't even a vaccine solution on the mic. These people worked through the pandemic. Many of them got COVID. A lot of these doctors and nurses got COVID working in the heart of the pandemic and continuously working around that virus. And then you have the audacity to tell them that you have to get this vaccine solution against something that you done already had. It's illogical, it's disrespectful, and I'm sorry, I have no faith in a lot of the institutions in this country. So I hope everybody is, like I said, having a great day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I have to get back to my cleaning and organizing. I haven't done a video in a while, and I had one of my LinkedIn connections say, hey, I haven't seen you do a video in a minute. So wanted to do a live stream. I actually just bought this new L-shaped desk. So I'm trying to out, my life in terms of like, this part is my workstation. This part is my blogging station. So it's crazy, but hope everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on the, I try to have another guest on the show too, so we can talk out some of these interesting topics that continue to play the American social contract in a very negative way. But let's just keep our prayers up. And I mean, regardless of what's happening in the world today, if you are a true Christian, you are like, I don't like, a lot of people think that I lose sleep because I talk about this stuff so much. I sleep very well at night. I sleep very, very well at night. I say what I say about some of this stuff, and I'm sleeping 6 to 8 hours consecutively, no problem, because I already know what the devil and his demons are doing. I already know the times that we are living in, and a lot of this stuff is not really so much about man agendas as they are about satanic and demonic agendas, because again, we are living in the time of the end. These are the last days, and in the 2 Timothy 3:1-5, it tells us, in the last days, critical times, hard to deal with, will be here. Men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, blasphemers. Right? Let me read that scripture. We're gonna end this on 2 Timothy because it's one of my favorite scriptures, because it's such a relevant scripture to read. 2 Timothy 1-5. I feel like people just need to continue to be on game with what is happening to them. So 2 Timothy chapter 3:1-5, it says, know this, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. Disobedience to parents. Where's that disobedience coming from? The education system is implanting the psychology vicariously through psychology classes in high school that parents are toxic, that kids can be rebellious against their parents, that kids are smarter than their parents, even though we've had more time on this earth and experience to be able to put them on game about how this life works. But your kid's smarter than you, according to some of these passionately ignorant activist teachers. But that's what it says in chapter 2, verse 2, chapter 3, verses 2. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, okay? Without natural affection, truce breakers. So y'all lying your asses, making deals and breaking deals, all the same. False accusers, incontinent, fears, despisers of those that are good. So when you see this cancel culture, this cancel cult of demons attacking people with rational and critical thinking, and who actually have some accountability to somebody that is beyond human beings, God, right? They want us worshiping men. They want us lording over men. And it's amazing to me how many of these anti-God people will sit there and worship a man, no problem. Fucking losers. All right, but what else do you say? Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And what does the end of that scripture say? It tells us to stay away from these people, right? I don't want to be a part of the popular culture of this world. Like, my thing is, they act like cancel culture. Like, why would you want to be a part of that culture? That worldly, irrational culture in the first damn place. And that's what a lot of us, especially these young people, they got to come to terms with. This world will only offer you limited things, and how much you want to get sucked into it will determine how happy you are. When you sucked into this world, you were sucked into the standards of somebody that is not you. So I'm glad you read that scripture, Angie. We need to definitely please have more chats on YouTube. I will sell, I've been busy. I started my company. I'm actually trying to get my company off the ground. I'm still working full time as well. But again, my company, Alpha Logic Communications Consulting, I'm working on a website now. My company is centered on bringing people back to rational communication methods, centered around the communication process. And a lot of people are not conscious, in the way that they communicate these days. Therefore, we are living in this reactive communication culture in which people are not understanding their audience. They're not understanding how the weight of their messaging. A lot of the messaging is very sensory versus rational and logical. And so what I like to do is help individuals and companies kind of come back to that art of communication. And I feel like once you are sort of Kaizen in the way that you communicate with people, you resonate with people more, you're able to reason with people more, and you're able to be more conscious about the outcomes of that message or that process. Meaning that when you're going into a discussion and there are opposing viewpoints, it is illogical to think that you're going to walk out of that discussion with agreement. And I think a lot of people are thinking that you need to have agreement when you have, an opposing thought, and you don't. The only thing that needs to happen, I would say the core responsibility of each person in that discussion is to make sure that the other person walk out of that conversation with dignity, whether you agreed or not. And we are not a society right now, and Second Timothy probably explains why, is because people have no natural affection and they're pretty much committed to ignorance. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I'm going to go take some Claritin and get all this out of me. And I'll catch you on the next video for sure. Bye. Thanks, Tiff. Thanks, Sal. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. And I will post another video a little bit, maybe next week, explaining a little bit more about my company. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.